Just get a coffee. Sorry, I got distracted by my cod liver oil capsules. I was trying to work out if they had omega 3 and 6 in them. Oh my god, I'm out! Sound I make when I sit down now. Jump a couple of songs. Go with this. Go. Where's my beautiful face? Where is it? Here it is. Hi, I'm BoredGamer. I hope you're doing well. We'll be talking about Star Citizen, but you know, answering the questions that you have about Star Citizen. You ask them, then I'll try to answer them. Typically try to jump around in any chat that I have on my screen at any given time. Don't need to pay or donate or anything to have your question answered. I'll come to it eventually. It is effectively content for me. And that is why I want to answer it. We're going to be talking about, I suspect, Star Citizen's big development changes, cadence of releases and monthly patches now, and a focus on content over features and playability, stability, performance, getting the game out of alpha. As I think CIG said. Sin went, did they say that? When I talked to her about the podcast, I was like, I'm pretty sure someone said it. Maybe it's me. Looking for a source for something the other week, that a magazine, another news outlet said about Star Citizen, and the only source I could find for it was me. That's bad, because I should be able to, at least through seeing my information about something, should be able to then source where the original source was. I did find the original source eventually, but then I went, make sure I'm a bit better at sourcing, unless the source is anonymous or whatever, and then I just have to make sure they're vetted, and then I can be the source for that. I'm just getting loads of emails. Oh, it's emails about board games, which are, to be honest, some of my favourite things to get emails on. Money, giving me money. I've got... I didn't have like a hole in the top of my head. I can't be bothered to sort it out. That's just the quality you get from me. Hello! Thank you very much for all the kind words. I've got coffee. I sometimes get a bit of a slurp. Sin is doing very well. Well, I'm going up to see. And then I've got sort of in March, and I've got our birthdays. She's here with some partner and stuff. We'll play board games and stuff. Came around recently, and we played loads of couch co-op games and stuff. Focused on that. I love playing PC games. I love playing couch co-op games. And I love playing board games. Board games are mostly my preference of what I'd like to do with my life. Like a mixture of all of it, but I'm a massive board game lover. Hence the channel name, which was supposed to do both board games and games, but I mean, I've just got so embedded into Star Citizen, being a Star Citizen. Now how to do stuff for the other. Video-wise, anyway. Do you expect current Heartseeker owners to get the Mark II upgrade for free, or will they need to be purchased? Good question. Don't know. Did you get the opportunity to have the Mark II for free, upgrading from the standard F7C? My expectation is that it will be available as an upgrade, potentially a cheaper upgrade. But for specifically the Heartseeker, they could do it as a free upgrade. That would be very cool to the community. Because it was rare anyway, right? I would expect it to be paid even if it's minimal. It'd be nice if it wasn't. I've been playing Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion again. I want to play Cyberpunk through again at some point. The expansion, because I haven't played it with the expansion yet. In fact, I need to put that on my list of games to play. Another game I wanted to play through, Doom and the expansion. Doom Eternal and the expansion? One of them. Just exactly how did Sin and yourself become such cool people? We're just, existed. I think everyone's relatively cool, right? But like that's my channel, in my chat, gives me money. No, so if you saw Zin and I in our personal lives, you'd see that we're monsters. Do you think we will still see base building now that a good portion of engineers have been moved to stability? Might depend on how it takes to get the game in a good state. So it's stability, playability, content, bug fixes. So basically what they're saying is that they're going to be focusing less on new features and focus more on expanding out the features they already have, get them in order, get them refined, and expanding out gameplay content in the verse now. So that would be new missions, that would be new gameplay area. That's all stuff that's not features, but is expanding on what we've got. New ships that don't require new features, stuff like that. There's actually quite a lot they can do. My concern is that I want engineering in the game ASAP, and they've sort of left us in the lurch of exactly when that's going to. I do expect it to be soon, and I think that we might even see things like nicks in the game by the end of the year. Maybe. Do you fly with a mouse, a keyboard, or a flight stick? So, mouse and keyboard mostly. The Verpal Constellation Delta is the best HOTAS I've used by some margin, and I have one somewhere. I also have a couple of Verpal sticks downstairs I've yet to use properly. That they sent me before I moved house. So I sort of, I love Verpal stuff. I know a lot of people love the VKB as well, but Verpal is my preference at the moment. A lot of cool stuff from Monster Tech as well. Sort of, but for the most part, to be used in conjunction with other people's HOTAS and sticks. I appreciate all the kind words. Thank you so much. Genuinely appreciated. So hello, I'm doing well. I enjoyed being on Tomatoes, Space Tomatoes podcast weekend. That was cool. Hello, hello. So yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So they're doing they said they wanted to have planned maintenance windows for patches and stuff, but at the moment they're just sort of fixing a load of stuff and updating a load of they're doing some server maintenance at the moment, and they are going to be updating and upgrading a load of the server infrastructure, doing some updates on there, hopefully improving a load of stuff. I'm going to see this a lot more in the future, potentially with a weekly or fortnightly actual maintenance window where they go take everything down, give everything a nice reset, deploy some new updates, make sure everything's in order, and put it back up. I think taking care of bugs and performance related core issues such as elevators, hangars, and stomach in 6 months is enough. Remaining bugs can wait. Why not both? I mean, if they're focusing on content and playability and stability, they probably do both. There's over 1,000 staff. I think closer to 1,200, but there's been some mix-ups and shake-ups with stuff, and so people are a little unsure, waiting for the starts and financials to potentially see a bit more where we are with that. I think there's a lot of people to be working on improving the game, both on content and both getting it into a out of alpha state. I'm going to use that. Out of alpha is a very sort of wide net to cast. Do you think new ships will count as content? Yes, as long as those new ships don't require new features. They've even said that. Oh, what about drones? Drones probably a new feature, but they are still working on features. So they are working on engineering, and a load of other stuff. It's just that you're going to see less feature-driven patches this year, and they're going to have a regular monthly patch release cadence, which probably will mean like they'll have a feature ready or almost ready, and they'll go, actually, we're saving it to the next month now. That feature gets pushed out, but it will go on the preview build. Do you think we will see base building now? We'll still say base building at some point. Could it be pushed so that we don't see it by the end of this year or something. Maybe. Much more likely that base building is sort of the after crafting, right? Sort of after engineering, after crafting. Is that after Maelstrom? Maybe. My obsession with engineering is so that CIG can get the engineering and physicalized components for ships and circuitry of ships done, and they can balance everything. So as part of their content liability sort of drive, getting that in order at the same time, but I want it released. So I want that released because it will break a load of things, engineering potentially. I would not expect base building to come in March. What makes this year of playability different from 2018 when at CitizenCon Chris announced an epiphany about focusing on improving the quality of life and the user experience? I mean, he did try and do that. It's just they were also focused on Squadron 42 a lot. A lot of these systems have now been reworked, and everything took a lot longer. It's different as well because they effectively are held to a higher standard by more people in the community. Like it does look like exactly what they're doing, and it's a monthly patch cycle cadence. And previously, they've tried stuff and it hasn't worked. This time, I think I have to hold them to quite a high level of account at getting it right this time, because they say they're going to basically dedicate a year to getting the game a lot more playable. Well, I want it a lot more playable by the end of the year. It's not a, oh yeah, that's they're pushing all these new features and everything. Well, they're saying they want to get something done. They're dedicating our money and their time, our time, towards it. How to do it. What features do you secret CIG informants think will now make it in this year? So, I've got a list of stuff that is on the priorities list. So engineering, I think, is the main one. Sandworms is another one, because they mentioned sandworms and that sort of stuff in the monthly report. There's going to be a huge amount of mission content, obviously narrative mission stuff, new types of missions, expanding out the gameplay for lots of stuff that we already have in game. And the other stuff that we might see is crafting, base building, hacking, data running, Maelstrom, dynamic economy, dynamic weather, lots of stuff like that. The bits of those, like exploration gameplay as well, is kind of content, because all they need to do is expand out and fix it and expand star maps, things like that, so you can save locations, share location data, and then find out missions and locations and stuff you can find for exploration. I mean, obviously you build on it after that, but when do you expect an update to the roadmap? So the roadmap, is it going to be different in the way that it's going to be monthly sort of patches? Are they just going to outline major new features in it? It'll be interesting to see if they're going to give that to us in a different way, or if they're just going to go, well, actually, here's a set of features and content, because potential major upgrades to systems on there, like Vulcan or whatever, new mission content, expanding out particular parts of features. We're going to add the ability to have locational data saved on star map and shareable, stuff like that. So rather than being a new feature, that's expanding out of what we currently have. Is it just going to be a load of stuff like that on the roadmap, and it'll be like, oh, this is targeted at Q1, Q2, but not a particular month? I don't know. Is the answer for a lot of this stuff, because we're waiting for CIG to tell us. Yeah, if you put question before your question, then I will know it's a question and treat it as such. My audio's cutting out, is it? Shouldn't be. Is that okay? Tell me if it's doing anything weird. It's probably when I turn away from the microphone. I'll try to do a bit less. Tell me if I'm looking straight at the screen and it's still doing it. Let me know. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Does this new priority also affect bugs with ships, e.g. freelancer door? Yes, 100%. All the problems that you have with all the problems that you have with, or a lot of the problems you have with ships, elevators, all those really annoying little problems. That is the sort of stuff they also want to get fixed at the same time. So getting those bugs fixed, getting everything performing better, getting bottlenecks and Vulkan and stuff like that in order, getting a little bit of balance into the game potentially, stuff like that as well. I want to ask how you're doing, and also I want to ask, how do you feel about the big changes? I feel moderately confident about the big changes. The thing is that Star Citizen and the development kind of goes in a cycle, right? They try something, it works or it doesn't work for a while, and then they say that they are going to have a big change, and it's going to be fantastic for the game. Now, historically, we are still waiting for a playable Star Citizen, and have been for... I mean, the last time Star Citizen was truly playable in my mind was 2.6.3. and I really enjoyed combat then. But that's by the by. That's pre-proper persistent universe stuff. That was very minor, that was just around Crusader and stuff. I just really enjoyed Arena Commander then. It was much more pioneering. But on paper, like the idea of what CIG are doing. Can they do it? I hope so. I want a more playable Star Citizen. I want to be able to have regular, easy-to-make gaming videos on my channel where I can play gameplay and play missions. People go, cool, Star Citizen's a real thing. And CIG probably want to get Star Citizen into a more mainstream, out-of-alpha experience for when Squadron 42 releases. So I do think, yeah, they are going to release Squadron 42 in 2026. They're going to want people to naturally move over to Star Citizen's Persistent Universe. They want content creators and streamers to pick that game up and not be frustrated with it. And by the end of the year, will the frustration be gone for Star Citizen? Probably not, but it might be in a significantly better place. It might be a more mainstream release. It might be, actually, no, Star Citizen's pretty good. Because I do think that if you clear up all of the bugs, I mean, this is Fantasyland. If we clear up, or if Star Citizen had no bugs, everything works as intended, and they evolved the content and gave me a load more missions to mess around with, I'd be pretty happy. I think that would be pretty good fun. But yes, I'm doing all right. Sort of waiting for my bathroom to be done in my house. Been waiting for a couple of months. 3.17 was good. I think 3.17 looks good because of how broken 3.18 was. And obviously, a lot of people had problems with 4.0 and 4.01 and still do. I was relatively lucky for the most part in a lot of the stuff that I was doing in Star Citizen wasn't being hugely hampered. And I was obviously clearly lucky, as was Zin, for messing around. But if you're a streamer, you're playing Star Citizen live regularly, some of these things are just prohibitive to play, right? Not being able to... Because you can't do a workaround if you just can't spawn your ship. You have to mess around for a couple of hours resetting your account. Or you can't leave your hangar. Or you can't complete mission sets. The thing that was getting me the most, anyway, was quantum travel. I kept on getting kicked out of quantum travel, then having to really fiddly try and get back into it, which is taking ages. Elevators as well, always been hit and miss. But yeah, the thing is that we don't know what content-driven actually really means. Less features. It sounds like they're giving us less, but if they are focusing on expanding out missions, expanding out features that we already have, and that sort of stuff, great. There's not actually that much more they need to get feature-wise, big features, for 1.0. Actual features. At least from my point of view, compared to what they've already got. So them slowing down makes sense. And a lot of people have wanted Star Citizen to be playable for a long time, so yeah, let them do it. But I hope you are doing well, my beautiful boy, Salty Mike. I've got a lot of love for you. You're one of my top tier internet friends. We need to catch up. So, on my alt account, I've been able to do both sets of missions for Safe Stanton and the Pyro missions. All 12 of them. Enough to get the rewards. For Zin and I are going to be playing it as well. I'm not sure if we're going to be Citizens of Pyro or Frontier Fighters. Is the 600 I rework still planned? Yes. Redoing the interior, basically. But they've got no updates for it. But, I mean, it doesn't require any new features, right? So, what's the new... Oh, we talked about that. Speaking of internet friends, if you've not heard a song by the same name, a band called Knife Party, it's really good. Thanks. What is the use of an alt account, in your opinion, in this kind of game? Just mainly faction picking, doing illegal stuff, being in different places, sort of location hopping, effectively, for filming purposes. I probably want quite a few accounts that are all focusing on different things. If you were just from a player perspective as well, yeah, you might want a lawful and unlawful account. I'm seeing quite a bit of discussion within the community about what will be high risk for the game project. A year's worth of broken features or a year's worth of samey missions. Thoughts? Broken unplayable Star Citizen is the worst thing you can have. Just broken stuff that's prohibitive to play. That is the worst you can have, especially now. And the marketing team for Star Citizen, see all the trailers, they very much push the experience as being significantly more polished than it actually. But for Star Citizen's point of view, samey missions would be better than broken features. But that's not the reality of what's happening. They're trying to get Star Citizen in order. They're trying to get it so it's significantly more playable and add lots and lots more missions. And expand out the content, but not expand out to the new features as much. I mean, there's still going to be new features this year, just less. What do we got? We got going. Good. Look exhausted. That's just my face. Also, I'm sort of dieting. I don't sleep very well. I'm super light sleeper. Get up pretty early. Go to bed pretty late. But I'm not eating very much at the moment. I'm on a diet, so I'm overly gorging over Christmas and sort of haven't stopped. But the last couple of days, I've just been having one meal a day, which is painful. Lots of water, though. I always look exhausted. And old as well. Hello, hello. Thank you very much for the kind words. Normally I don't have a neck beard. Well, that's shaved. Do you think we all still get... And I've got different headphones. Well, do you think we will still get resource management this? Because without it, how we're going to fix master modes? So yeah, engineering, secretaryships, I think is I think that is going to be a priority. Obviously, they worked on it quite a bit. I'd be upset if they didn't get it in before the end of the year. So, interesting you say I'm exhausted. That's because I've had to plan travel to go home. So I'm going to see my mum, get some dentistry done, stuff like that. See some mates around my birthday in hometown. Planning the traveling stresses me out so much, and I've sort of got travel anxiety. Fine, yeah. One of the unfortunate points of being bipolar, and that is just tires you out. I wish I could let my hair grow back. Yeah, good job. Does it ever feel like the low pop servers run well when the servers get over 300? They go to crap. Yes, but it can also just generally be degradation of the time the server's been up and the amount of entities that are there. They are putting more and more fixes and hotfixes and things like that in. 4.0.2, I've only had a very cursory mess around with. And so that's quite interesting as well. So 4.0.2, the Bacardi build at the moment has got supply or die, which is basically jump town for pyro. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy that. Yes, well, so I'm not. I very much enjoy socializing, and I love talking to people. Am I a social person? So I'm quite happy hermiting myself off, doing my own thing, as long as I can chat to people and sort of like online and mumble and stuff. Okay, but I'm totally happy going to the pub and going clubbing and stuff like that still, or just what my preferred thing would be to go to a board game conference and play board games for a whole weekend till late into the night. Also, typically, first person to dance at a party or a wedding. Did you lose your sword? Maybe. But I don't know why. I don't. I don't know why you've lost it though. I haven't removed it. I don't think I have. Would I have? I'm pretty chill about going out. I'm really scared of being out. Like the pub and whatever. I enjoy it to the level of freedom, and because I'm not working, I'm not so stressed. So it's weird. I love working, and if I wasn't doing anything at home, I'd be stressed and anxious. But if I'm out of the house, I'm not working. If a level of alcohol is involved, I'm really relaxed, really enjoy it. But I get anxious as well if I'm away from home too long. I was on a bit of a delay because of dog, but I heard you ask how I'm doing as well, and just jumped to live. Hope you and Zin are well. Yes, we are. Thanks very much. Let you heard that. I hate you. We'll have to catch up properly. Do you think this new patch structure will actually result in a more stable playable game? Yes. That's exactly that is what it's supposed to do. I do trust that I'm expecting it to, and I will hold COG to account if it's not. I mean, much as I can. I'll be grumpy. Did you ever play the board game Scotland Yard as detectives? One player's Mr. X. No, so is that a hidden movement game? I've played Where's Mr. X? What, is that Moriarty or is Mr. X a Sherlock Holmesy type game? But no, I've not played Scotland Yard. With the maint on the service today, maintenance, do you think a high probability of losing LTP is happening again? They are different. So, as far as I'm aware, the databases are not connected directly to the servers. It's possible if CIG needed to do a wipe, they will, but I don't think it's likely. Give Chris a stern talking to if they fail. So, right. If they try and do this and they don't really do it, or they do it half-heartedly, the getting Star Citizen more performant, better stability, fixing all the problems, like with elevators and all that sort of stuff. If they just nothing changes and it's as broken or more broken, and we've not had much in the way of features, I think you have to go, can they make the game that they want to make without more concessions? And then we'll have to have more of a talk of how do we get CIG to actually make headway in getting us Star Citizen 1.0. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, the problem with sending a box of spiders is I have to deal with a box of spiders. That's fair. The only issue is that I feel like the game has no goal. Like, why play? No loop has caught me yet. So that's fair. Star Citizen has no goal gameplay-wise at the moment because it's an alpha. They haven't got the end game there at all, right? They're trying to add that with potentially contested zones and those executive hangars and stuff like that. But that's an enclosed loop, right? That's just a... You want all of these gameplay loops to have high-level gameplay and all of that to affect each other with a dynamic economy. We don't have an endgame, but they do have an endgame plan for 1.0, which part of that is the sort of base building and fighting over space stations and resources and stuff in Nyx and Pyro, among other stuff. But yes, we need no more resets, actually, but we need reasons to play, we need proper progression, we need stuff with rep boards and end game and high level stuff to do. Totally agree with you. Bear with me 1 second. You're going to see behind the wizard's curtain briefly, but I leave to the toilet. Green screen all along. I'm BoredGamer's midriff. Oh. That was a leg reveal. Classic. I want Squadron 42 to be a universe-sized game. So, it's going to be a very big game. It is largely on rails. Those rails might be quite... open in some areas where you can sort of stop at the station and go and fly around, and they are real planets and real star systems. But you are a military officer, and you have to adhere within that for the game. Nice Jamis, thank you. That's one of the joys of spending a decade covering Star Citizen, I can wear pajamas 90% of my lifetime. Have you heard anything about increasing the Argo Raft's capacity or getting the arms working? No. I literally have heard nothing about that. But I assume that's what they're getting stuff working. I'm starting to wonder if the dynamic economy is another silver bullet like server meshing. It definitely help, but not in isolation. So the dynamic economy and dynamic universe are super important, okay, for effectively spawning missions appropriately and tying everything together and all the gameplay loops together in financial stuff and reward stuff. I think that economy is a big pull to a lot of people, especially for industrial gameplay, but it affects everything, right? The value of stuff and the rarity of stuff. Tony Z being announced as emeritus, which is potentially might mean he's partially retired or working for CIG less. Maybe he's not. We don't know. And CIG not talking about the dynamic economy and dynamic universe enough. It's concerning. I just want more clarity. I want them to talk about it more. Has there been any merchantman news? Not for ages, no. If you found out an animal or creature that you'd normally eat actually had sentience, would you still eat it? Octopus, for example. Well, number one, I don't eat octopuses. Sapience versus sentience. If an animal has a level of intelligence or it's cute enough, I won't eat it. So I won't eat cats and dogs. But I do like a pig. What's the taste to intelligence ratio for bacon? Me to not want to eat it. That's the thing, isn't it? Ooh. One second. Something about my journey. I booked a journey to go to my ancestral homeland just before I started streaming. I have bought you. I've sent you the money. Sorry. Apologies. If you found out the Zin had sentience, would you still allow it to eat if it want? I'd have to pay her more. No. If you had one Joker card, what area/bug would you focus on? Oh. I mean, at the moment, it's traversal. So, elevators, trams, quantum travel. That is so important to having a good Star Citizen experience. That's why I'd go short term, for sure. I think that's what they are doing. So, I agree. I feel a dynamic economy will need to be robust. That's a trade. Yep. Player trade. That's another thing that I would want ASAP, but that's what I want. Still feel a bit bummed that there's no AI crew. Exploration less viable than thought. We'll see what happens. I mean, we'll have AI crew eventually. It's just they're working towards 1.0 at the moment. So they want to get Star Citizen into a state where they can release it, and that there's no more resets, and then they can add more to it. I don't mind if they reset it again or not in the short term. As soon as they get Star Citizen to a more playable state, I would like as few as resets as possible. Do you feel as though ego has gotten in the way of development at CIG over the years? Potentially with some managers or and with Chris and stuff, like potentially, like Chris has his vision. He is very particular about his vision. He wants it done in a particular way, and you will have the other managers and especially the sort of his lieutenants and like people like the game directors and Aaron and stuff trying to bring that into reality. Sometimes having to make concessions with Chris's vision and to convince Chris that that's the way to do it. Yeah, because he has to sign off on it or whatever. So yeah, maybe. I love Chris's vision, but I also like a good bit of concession to get things into reality. Chocolate spiders. If you could snap your fingers and have them focus on non-stability update content and feature, assume they're still working on those, what would you prioritize for? I want base building in Game It. I love base building, but dynamic economy, realistically. I go bam, they get something like that sorted quickly. But I mean, as I said, traversal is the most important thing because you need to make Star Citizen more playable and accessible. You need the traversal bugs and issues to be sorted. And I genuinely believe that they focus on content and expanding out the current features, have a great game pretty soon. Do you think we'll see the Sandworm issue? I mean, it was mentioned in the monthly report even. So yeah, I mean, they've been working on Sandworms for a little while. I do think we'll see it this year, yeah. Even if it's just in the preview build or, PTU. Cyberpunk 2077, what was my issue with traversal is the play movement. Just like in Cyberpunk 2077, it feels like you're not in your body. Camera's working back and forth. I think the an FPS, I feel pretty immersed. Think about how CIG could continue to make money. Do you think they could use AI crews as a monetary source? For example, you purchase an NPC crew member with medical insurance, etc. What for real money? That is not something I would support. So, money source wise, I would support them still selling ships with a concept ships and stuff with an exclusivity period of a month or 3 or something for new ships. Make sure they're not OP, like genuinely. Special skins, voluntary subscriptions. There's always been the plan to sell in-game currency. So maybe in currency as well. Support that. I'm not sure if I'd support like land claims or NPC crew specific and stuff like that because it looks a bit scummy. I mean, if they're selling in-game currency, they're effectively selling everything. But there is a level of if you could only buy NPC crew through real money, that would be awful. No, I would not support pay to win in that. So anything that goes, you can only get it this way for some form of gameplay advantage or time advantage, or at least gameplay advantage, then I'd go, time advantage, not such a big deal for me. Get it in 3 months or you get it from away. That's just me though. You think they should do some type of battle pass? I don't think it works for Star Citizen. I mean, constant content that's battle pass styled of there's a new main set of narrative missions going on, stuff like that. Yeah, that's cool. Seasons of content, as it were, based on like those events. Yeah, that's cool. you think once they tie the salvage missions and cleanups to actual player ship death, it will be enough, or they will also have to add NPC salvages to handle? I mean, the dynamic economy should be able to handle it, right? Because they can have those NPCs cleaning it up. The background is Quanta. Web browser and the MFD. I mean, I kind of like the idea. Same as being able to play any movies or music you want, as long as there's not some sort of copyright issue or anything there. I like the idea. Some sort of development as service battle pass, I think. Monstrous. Battle passes work for certain games. So, say something. My concern is that there'll be cheaters and stuff. Because there's cheaters in every game now. So I can't play Deadlock because I get too stressed about people cheating. I stopped playing finals because there were too many cheaters. There's cheaters in almost every game of finals I played. I love the finals. I think absolute superb FPS. And I Deadlock. Often get a cheater in a game. Well, I noticed them more on the enemy team. I don't want to play when there's cheaters there, and I worry we're just gonna have the similar thing in Star Citizen. Now, with appropriate logging and stuff like that, maybe not so much of an issue. But yeah, maybe ability to see apps and stuff like YouTube and things like that in game. Maybe. I won't refuse to play a game with cheat. What I'll do is I'll get very raging angry, and eventually I'll refuse to play. Not immediately though, and because obviously you're going to have a level of exploiting and cheating in any game, right? Especially when there's like a time investment and bragging, and sort of people spent a lot of real money, right? So it'd be interesting to see how CIG do the logging, how they handle cheaters, how they handle that sort of stuff. And that's one of the reasons I'm kind of not super pro gold sellers in games. They encourage practices of like hacking people's accounts, cheating, to get as much money as you can, because they're running it as effectively how do I generate as much money as possible. The Star Citizen run on Linux. I believe it runs on Linux now. I'm not. Yeah. So if they don't allow you to like have web browsers and stuff on your MFDs or whatever, there should be a load of mobiGlass apps which will be interested. If there's a way that I can make a casino app, maybe I will. I'll disguise it so it's technically a casino. If players can make apps for mobiGlass, or CIG make tons of apps for mobiGlass, great. That's what I'd like to see. I think there's a load of cool stuff you could do with that, right? Fantastic. Star Citizen can run on X. I run it on my Steam Deck by Proton. How was your Steam Deck experience with Star Citizen? Even in from down under. Hello! You're doing all right, Ruben, mate. Thank you very much for all the kind words. I genuinely appreciate it. Yeah, that's the other thing as well. Are you streaming it, or are you you're running it locally? I'm interested in its local performance rather than streaming. It's a mixed bag. Once you get off the planet, it's fine, but landing zones are rough. Okay, I'm assuming that's that. Local on the hardware. Okay, cool. else have we got? The Fight for Pyro, this current phase of Fight for Pyro before Supply or Die is going to end when 4.0.2 comes out, so bear that in mind. Only two phases, two sets of 6 missions to do for that Fight for Pyro stuff. And when you choose a faction, if you haven't already, you are locked to that faction for at least this phase. If you will be locked for the next phase, not factions or and that sort of stuff. And what happens at these events will affect the game going forward. I think if a lot of most missions are completed for the headhunters, then the pirates will be running pyro more than the frontier fighters and citizens of prosperity. See what I mean? It will affect the narrative going forward, and therefore the game. And also, you might want to be back to get the Ripper, the little SMG. Oh, 4.0.2 is highly focused on 3 key: improving connectivity and stability, and start of Supply or Die's Pyro event. This build also pulls in all the current bug and fixes that were not compatible with hot fixing in 4.0.1, and obviously they've got that maintenance window today as well, which will be them upgrading structure and servers, shards and databases and mini services and stuff like that. Hopefully 4.0.1 will be in a better state. Well, I look forward to Star Citizen being properly playable. Like, sit down and play, rarely get a bug. Would that be good? What's the music right now is Pedro Camacho's Monarchs Pyro 2 theme tune. Any indicators when 4.0.2 will get pushed? Probably by the end of the month. If they want monthly patches, expect the end of the month for each of those patches. How you doing? I'm okay, thanks. Playing Oathsworn, potentially completing Oathsworn, although we'll get near completion but not complete it at the end of this week. So my mate's coming over on Valentine's Day to play that. Then I'm going back to my ancestral home for a few days. Then in March, my birthday and stuff, people coming down for that. Zin's going to be coming up more regularly to play board games. Best mates in Leeds as well. Yeah. Looking forward to a lot of stuff. I'm tired and not stressed, but anxious about traveling. Oh, I also want my bathroom to be done, so I sort of booked my bathroom to get done, which is kind of like a 70s bathroom in this house that needs updating, and there's damage to the floor and stuff. My house is pretty nice, but I want to get all that all sort of redone. I've just been waiting ages for it to be done because the people I wanted to get done didn't have any available slots and didn't trust really anyone else to do it. Freelancer had different shield types. Do you think they will implement different shield types in Squadron and classes? So yeah, expect to see bubble shields, half shields, quarter shields, quadrant shields, stuff like that, because it's going to be based on shield emitters and stuff like that as well. The store has music from Star Citizen. Would that be updated with new music when they put out with Power and Squadron? Oh, I would expect so, but I'm not 100% sure. Chiff Monkey grabs and rips all of that music and chucks it up online. Fantastic, because you can use for videos and stuff like this. What patch is the engineering stuff and repair stuff coming? So, hopefully sooner rather than later. It was originally supposed to be as part of 4.0 0, and then they said they'll push it back to be the next major patch afterwards. CIG have now announced monthly patches and a different release cadence where they're focusing less on features, or it's going to be longer before features come into game, but they're working on content, so missions, expanding out what features are currently there, and effectively not new features, expanding out that content and playability and stability and stuff like that. So they want the game to be more mainstreamly playable and out of alpha is effectively what they want. So we don't know when engineering's coming. Should be soon. I'm expecting it soon. I'll be upset if it's not. I think it's super important. I think quality of life updates will include a keyword search in the contract tab. Yes. And on the star map, to be better, and to be those keywords also be there rather than just place names. I want to have this new direction will affect ships. So it's going to be ships that they don't need new features for. So cargo, combat, mining, salvage. That sort of stuff's pretty refined, right? Well, don't require new features to have those ships in. Because just my 2 cents, I don't think we're going to see engineering for a while. Might use it to test the new PU validation loop, though. We'll see it on the preview build before we see it in a major patch, as it were. But yeah, I think it's super important. I'm hoping they're prioritizing it still. Board games are bored. Well, it's just BoredGamer. It's BoredGamer. So in Star Citizen, we have capital ships. How do you feel about the situation that those can be purchased at money and players can get their hands on? Sure, some will be limited, like the Javelin and Kraken. Eve Titans, for example, not be bought more organically in game. So you can't buy Bengal Carrier with real money. You'll find them and build them in game projects. So it still has that level of the big things you can't buy with real money. That said, the Javelin's pretty big, but I mean, there's quite a limited amount of them. You'll be able to build them in game as well. How does that all pan out? We don't know yet. As long as it's not properly play to win, I don't care. Well, I mean, I care to a degree. I want it to be so that it's a fun, playable game. I want it to be not frustrating, that someone can just, can an org just beat another org through chucking real money at something? If they can, not a game that I think will be great. Well, maybe that's interesting. Maybe that's a cool story. If you beat them, even though they're chucking tens of thousands of dollars into the money printer. Different shield sizes are there. I meant about shield types. For example, Freelancer had positron. Oh yeah, there should be shield types as well. Yeah. There are going to be lots of different shield variables that make them better against certain damage types for sure. Well, I mean, I'm 99%. Game will be pushed to EP2 much later this year, in my opinion, as well as initial base building and next. I think crafting before base building, right? Sandworms look like they're going to be done soon as well. At least go into testing, right? Not sure. We need CIG to talk about what's going on the roadmap. We need to start Citizen financials as well, right? Like, when are they going to turn up? Right. Any other questions? I think we're pretty good. I'm going to release the podcast that Zin and I did in a minute. If she's actually finished. If she's edited it yet. Damn. It's edited. It's ready. So I'm going to go and release that. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to send you over to someone else that is recommend you some. I'm going to send you to Super Mac Brother. He's my boy. Just abandon you there with him, so... Thank you very much for watching. Genuinely appreciate it. We'll get more 4.0.1/2 content out throughout the week. Cover anything else that's going on in the Star Citizen community. I'm super excited for the future of Star Citizen, but I always am. On paper, really like the cadence patch releases. Makes sense, but who want that engineering in? Who want that engineering in? From my point of view, that would be a great idea. The Safe Start event was very buggy, and I could never complete it. Any idea if and when that will be repeatable? It's not supposed to be repeatable. They might do it as a sort of like something in the future again, or have the same rewards available again. More evolved, but they haven't. They said one and done at the time, but I would expect them to potentially do the same rewards again in the future for something similar. Right. Love you loads. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to further support the channel, use the join button and Patreon and donate or whatever. Like, share, subscribe, all that sort of jazz. Use the links below my videos. Watch